Hey family, this is Ashley B. Welcome back to my channel, Healing for Destiny. If this is your first time joining, welcome y'all. God has me doing this six-part series on inner healing. Ooh, y'all, this series is about to be on fire. God has called me to do this series. First of all, for you that have been following me, that have been subscribed to this channel, you know that this is my ministry. You know that this is my assignment. You know that this is how God uses me. I am an inner healing and purpose coach. And the purpose of this series, the purpose of me being on this channel is to help people to heal. Hence the name Healing for Destiny, to heal from these things of the past, to heal from these things that you don't even know that you need to heal from, to start addressing this stuff, getting to the root, getting to the bottom. And that's what inner healing is all about. There is no way that you can go through a healing journey. There's no way that there's certain things that you can begin to go into, these things that God has for you, these places, these people that God has for you, until you start doing this inner work, until you start doing this inner healing. You say, God, I want to change. I want to change. I don't like to think the way I don't want to keep thinking how I used to think. I don't want to keep doing these things that I used to do. I'm trying to break out of these cycles. I'm trying to break out of all these things, all these old things. I'm trying to get away from this. I'm trying to embrace my identity in God. I'm trying to embrace the woman that God wants me to come. I'm trying to embrace this new life that God has for me. Oh, but God, it seems so hard. I can't heal from this stuff. I can't let this stuff go. I can't get over this stuff. God, why does it seem like I keep hitting this same place over and over again? I can't get past this. I keep getting triggered. This is what this is all about. This is the type of stuff that we're going to be talking about in this series. And inner healing is essential, because that's that work that God wants you to start doing within. Before you start touching all these other things, before God can start taking you to these other places, God said, I need you to sit down and I need you to do you. I need you to work on you, because it's so much stuff. It's so much stuff. It's stuff from your past. It's stuff from your childhood. It's some wounds. It's some roots that you won't even sit down with. You won't even pull it up. It's some stuff that you won't even sit and deal with. And I need you to deal with these things. I got so much for you, and I want to take you to this place. I want to take you to this place of transformation. I want to take you to this next level. I want to send you the husband. I want to send you all these good things. I want to send you the success, but you are not somebody that can handle those things, because there's so much that's still happening in you that I want to heal, that I want to heal, that I want to get to the root of, that I want you to begin to release. You got to forgive these people. You can't step into your purpose. You can't do these things that I need you to do because you holding on to unforgiveness. You can't see this new thing that I'm trying to do in your life because you still seeing things from an old vision. And this is what this series is all about. And so today, the first thing that we are diving into and we are addressing today is the willingness. When we talk about inner healing, when we talk about doing this work, it starts with the willingness. Are you willing to address this stuff? Are you willing to sit down with yourself? Are you willing to sit down and journal? Are you willing to get to the root of this stuff? Are you willing to do this? You know, I ran into a quote the other day, and I'm telling you, this quote has been stuck with me. This was like 2 weeks ago I ran into this quote, and it's just been something that has been in the back of my mind, and I just keep thinking about it over and over and over again because it's so true. And it said that anything that you are not changing, you're choosing. Anything that you're not changing, you're choosing. So if it's certain things that you're saying and you're telling yourself that you want to change, and you're not changing it, then you're choosing it. You say, God, I want to be a better woman. God, I want to start doing more intentional things with my life. God, I want to step into my purpose. God, I want to do what it is that you call me to do. God, I want to let this stuff go. But if you're not changing it, then you're choosing to stay in bondage. You're choosing to stay in a broken place. You're choosing to stay in the past. You're choosing. And the only way you could keep moving, the only way you could keep going is that you got to start changing. And part of this changing, when we're talking about healing, when we're talking about a healing process, when we're talking about a healing journey, part of that is the willingness to want to change. You have to tell yourself, I'm tired. Like, you have to be serious about this this stuff. You can't just keep saying that you want to see this and God, I need you to help me with this. Like God says, I need you to meet me halfway. Are you willing? Are you willing? Are you willing to really get in my word and seek me? Are you willing to really sit down with this stuff and face it? Because sometimes when we start talking about this inner healing, when we start sitting down and doing this work, y'all, it's not easy. It's not easy to have to go back to the past and ask yourself these hard questions. It's not easy to start getting to the root. It's not easy to start dealing with this childhood trauma that you never addressed, that you never even talked about, that you didn't even know was there. And as soon as you start hitting that stuff, as soon as you start digging for that stuff sometimes can be so tough. But God said, are you willing? The only way that I can truly heal your heart, the only way that I can truly take you where I'm trying to take you, I need you to be willing. I need you to trust that if you sit down and you do this work, if you sit down and you allow me to expose these things to you, if you sit down and you really start going within, ooh, you didn't think before that you can heal from these things. You didn't think before that you can get to this next place. You didn't think that before, but I'm here to let you know that you can do it. You can do it, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to be real with yourself. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to ask yourself these hard questions. You have to be willing. God said the first step is for you to start showing up for yourself. And part of you showing up for yourself is dealing with yourself. It's dealing with yourself. It's you forgiving yourself. It's you forgiving yourself. It's you going back and figuring out, how did I even get here? How did I even start thinking like this? Where did this stuff stem? Where did this stuff start? Where does this stuff stem from? What happened? Who told me that I wasn't beautiful? Who told me that I wasn't good enough? Where did I first start lacking confidence? Where did I first start having an issue or a problem with my outer appearance? When did I first start noticing an issue with these men that I've dealt with? When have I noticed that I've been so hard on myself? When did I start beating myself up? Which one of my parents, what was happening in the household? Which one of my parents that I feel like wasn't there for me? Which one was I crying out for attention to? Y'all, this is what it's all about. This is what inner healing is all about. Get into these wounds. Get into the uprooting. We got to start uprooting this stuff. And it's so important for me on this channel, the way God uses me on this channel, because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like, what it looks like to be like, God, you gotta have something better for me. God, you tell me all this stuff in your word. You tell me all this stuff in the Bible, but I can't see it, God. I can't believe this stuff. When I first started learning my identity, when I first started sitting down and trying to come into agreement with this identity that God says I have, it was hard for me to embrace this identity because of how I viewed the world, because of how I view myself, because of this negative lens, this tainted lens that I would view myself from for 30 plus years of my life. God says you have to be willing. You have to be willing. And being willing just means that, okay, I'm going to do this, God. I'm not going to keep running from this. I'm not going to get started and then stop. And then a few months down the line, I'm trying to figure out, while I'm still over here in pain, while I'm still over here doing the same things, expecting different results. No, God, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with you, God. I'm going to do this work. I'm going to deal with myself before I keep trying to blame everything else and blame everybody else. Before I keep making everybody else the issue, God, I'm going to do this inner work, God. I'm going to start loving on myself. I'm going to start understanding who you say I am. I'm going to start understanding that I'm worthy, that I'm worthy to be loved, God, that I'm worthy of the success that you have for me, God, that there is value on the inside of me. And all of that it stems with us doing this work, y'all. And so that's what this series is all about. I just want to start with that. I don't want to get deep into it. You got to watch all the videos in the series. It's going to be an amazing series. So I want y'all to stick around. This is video 1. This is video 1, willingness. Number 1 of the series, willingness. So if you ready for this, if you ready to go to this next level, if you ready to go through this journey with God, I want you to comment below and say, I am willing, God. I love y'all so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.